Put my
Good morning. This is the BLAINESWORLD podcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and you get more information about previous shows and upcoming shows on our website, www.blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. And each week, we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce Marianne, and I think I have the pronunciation Carruth. Is that it?
That's correct.
Okay, Carruth, Executive Director of the Tryon Fine Arts Center in Tryon, North Carolina. And Marianne, you can feel free to wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this.
Hey, how are you doing?
Marianne. And I should mention that Marianne is a Tryon native, and she graduated from Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas, with a degree in speech and drama. After college, she worked in San Antonio, New York, but chose to return to her roots when she married, where she married and raised 4 children. In 2011, Marianne was hired as Director of PR Marketing at the Tryon Fine Arts Center, and in 2014 moved into her current position as Executive Director. She's also a past president and current board member of Carruth Club and has served on several other local boards. Currently, she serves on a leadership committee for developing Rails to Trails project, performs locally as an actor. So it sounds to me, Marianne, you keep a little bit busy, would you say?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And the only thing I don't see, I'm looking at you, I don't see your roller skates. I don't see how you.
No, I put those away. Those are a little dangerous for me right now.
Well, talk a little bit about you. So you mentioned you grew up in Tryon. When you were a girl growing up in Tryon, did you always know you wanted to be in the fine arts area?
I always knew I wanted to do theater. My older sister was a theater major, and I really enjoyed, she was a big influence on me. And, theater is my background. Theater was my love. I would just always read plays by myself. It was very sad kind of, and be in my room reading all the parts to the plays and playing everything. And so that was what I really enjoyed doing. But I also enjoy the visual arts. I also enjoy dance. I enjoy fine music. A job in the Fine Arts Center is a perfect place for me to be.
I was going to say, if ever there was a perfect job for you, this must be
it. It really is. I enjoy the arts administration. I enjoy creating the shows. I enjoy putting a season together, and I enjoy all the artists that I get to work with, and all the volunteers, and all the patrons, and all our board members. It's a great place for me.
Well, you were talking also as a child, you read plays by yourself. When did you start acting, or did you act as a child?
I did. My very first play was actually right here at the Tryon Fine Arts Center on stage with the Summer Youth Musical, which is going to be back here this summer. And it's, 50th year almost. And it was Oliver. So I played the milkmaid in Oliver. So
I asked that for a reason, because I'm going to share with you an idea I've shared with other folks. But for a fundraiser, what I proposed, he said everybody would recreate the very first role, So wouldn't that be cool? Not only you to do Oliver again, because when you did Oliver, I assume, is there a video of this performance anywhere?
No, it was a little before those days.
But wouldn't that be a cool thing? I'm very serious about this, to get everybody to do their first role. It doesn't have to be just theater. It could be playing the trumpet, playing some instruments. But I think that would be, don't you think that'd be?
That's a really great idea.
Well, keep it in mind, if I ever can help you with it, I'll volunteer.
All right. I'm writing it down.
Especially given what you do. So it didn't just have to be theater, but it could be all the performing arts,
Sure.
And if, like, some violin player remembers her very first recital when they didn't have, video recording of it, they could pass this on to, I just think it'd be a fun thing for Tryon to do.
I do too. I actually think it's a really good idea. Thank you, Blaine. I just wrote it down.
Not only I'll volunteer to help, I'll even make a contribution, but if you have it, keep me in mind. But anyway, so you did that, and so did you study fine arts and theater in high school or college?
I did. I participated in the theater programs at my school and at Wofford College when I was still in high school. And then I went to college in San Antonio at Trinity University and studied there and got my degree in speech and drama. And I studied a little bit in London. I went there for a while and learned a whole lot. It was wonderful, wonderful programs I was able to participate in there. And I worked in New York, and I worked back in San Antonio, and then I came back to North Carolina, where I raised my family until I decided to start teaching about 2000, and got back into it then. Found my way back in through creating theater with kids, which was phenomenal.
And so you were teaching theater?
Yeah. I taught acting class from 4-year-old through high school, and did that for many, many years. Really enjoyed that in Tryon and Flat Rock and Hendersonville and Spartanburg, and just had my car and went everywhere with my car full of props, and had a great time. And I taught here on the stage at the Fine Arts Center, and then ended up finding a full-time job here. So.
And fast forward to that full-time job, or specifically to the Tryon Fine Arts Center. So I have to tell you, I met you, I guess, maybe four or 5 months ago.
Right.
I was blown away by the facility. You have to explain for people who don't know what it is. What is the Fine Arts Center in Tryon?
Well, the Tryon Fine Arts Center is an amazing place for a small town to have. In fact, it's something that I hear over and over again. That's one of the reasons I moved to Tryon, because it's a 315-seat auditorium. We have a full-sized stage with proscenium, with a fly system, and wonderful lighting, state-of-the-art sound. So that's one of the performance venues. We also have an amphitheater, which seats about 200 people. We've got a season starting up out there this week. And we also have a pavilion, which is a brand new piece that was just completed in 2020, that we just were able to open in 2021. And it is a multi-use space. We just did a theater piece down there last week. We do classes down there. We rent it out for weddings, and we have lots of parties and such down there. So it's a very large venue for Tryon. It sits right on Melrose Avenue, which is a lovely residential street in Tryon. Well, it's residential. It also has churches on it. It's a beautiful, beautiful avenue right above downtown Tryon.
We should give a shout out, by the way, over your shoulder. I see we have kind of an important person in the history of this facility.
Thank you.
Who is that?
Yes, this is Violet Parrish Watson. She was a woman who made it possible for the Fine Arts Center to be here. She, in the 50s and 60s, she saw lots of small groups. There was Tryon Little Theater, Tryon Arts and Crafts, Tryon Painters and Sculptors, Tryon Concert Association, Tryon Weavers. I mean, the list goes on and on of all the small nonprofit arts groups that were meeting in various and sundry places throughout the town. And so she put a $25,000 challenge grant in her will. And the rules were that it had to be met. The $25,000 had to be met, not by one donor, not by two donors, but by at least 100 people putting their money together, which, showed the community support for her idea of building a community center for the arts. And so they quickly raised the money, and in 1969 had their first show. This was the originally this was the home of Tryon Little Theater. I mean, Tryon Little Theater has been in Tryon for close to 70 years, but originally this stage was built for Tryon Little Theater's use. And Tryon Painters and Sculptors was also here. Tryon Arts and Crafts was here. Tryon Concert Association, who still uses our space, has been presenting incredible classical concerts with artists that you wouldn't believe come to Tryon. They come to San Francisco, New York, Tryon, and then they go back to Europe. I mean, they're unbelievable, the level of artistry that they are able to bring in. So she was able to provide a place for all of these volunteer organizations to grow, and grow they did. It ran very nicely for many years, with a lot of local performances, and also some that were brought in from outside. And then one by one, the organizations found their own homes. Tryon Little Theater now has their own workshop space that they run and operate, and they're happy there. Tryon Arts and Crafts has a burgeoning center out at Harmon Field. So in 2006, the board of directors at that time decided to take this building and make a presenting organization out of it. And so they changed the structure and put in an executive director position to organize the programming and to run it a different way. So it was no longer a rental facility for just our local organizations. So we do present our own season of shows. We present our signature series, which is artists from all over the country, a wide variety from jazz. We've had Freddie Cole, we've had Peter Yarrow. We are bringing the Kruger brothers again this year. We have lots of wonderful shows coming up in our signature series. We also do our amphitheater series, which opens up this week. It's 5 Thursdays between now and June, whatever that is, June 3rd. And they're bands from all over the Southeast that will be presenting in the amphitheater. And we have film series. We have also a pavilion series, which is has a lot of wonderful local presentations. That really, I try to focus on our local artists and the local interests, and very kind of specific, eclectic pieces down there. And we have an arts and education program. We now call it Arts Education and Outreach, because it's one of the most surprising and special programs here. It's been something that I've been very proud of. It's my original title here was Director of Marketing, PR, and Arts and Education, because that, with my background teaching the kids, it was important to me that the arts continue. This place was important to me when I was a child, and I want children to grow up knowing that they found something here for themselves too, and discovered something about the arts.
Well, if I can jump in, just two questions then.
Sure.
So the building you're in now, how long has that been there?
The building has been here, it's been open since 1969. So they started building it about 64, 65 through there, but it opened with Mad Woman of Chaillot in 1969. And yes, that's how long the building has been here. We added to it in 2019. We had a very successful capital campaign, which we were able to, with which we were able to add our pavilion, which is about a 7,500 square foot multi-use space. It's really lovely. We've also, let's see what else. So now that's the entire building now, is the front
Yes.
and the back. We also have our gallery program too, which is down there. Our Jeannie Parker Gallery, who's another.
You look at the facility; it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
You walk into it, and then I cut you off. I'm sorry, but you were talking about
okay.
the arts and education program. So now you told me off the air. So that's not just for kids, but it's also for adults as well.
Yes, we try to bring out lifelong learning programs. We have our Junior Appalachian Musician program, but we do it for seniors as well. So you can learn to play a guitar or a mandolin or a banjo or a fiddle if you've never learned before. And so we have a lot of adults who enjoy that program. We've just finished up a series called The Young and Not So Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra, with educator and musician Igor Begelman from Greenville, who's a gentleman who's very well versed in, he's a performer and an educator, and he did a wonderful program for us. We also have our artists who display in our gallery also do programs. We did a very successful program for local people called So You Think You Can't Draw. So there are wonderful visual arts places here in Tryon. So I don't try to do what other nonprofits can do. There's no sense in doing that. I just send people to them when they want to do that. But no one was teaching beginning art classes. And so we just did it called, So You Think You Can't Draw, and it was very successful. Had a lot of people who came into that class and actually realized that they could draw, and went on from there to take a class at Tryon Painters and Sculptors. So, it has launched, interest in other arts organizations as well, which we are the Arts Council for Polk County. So it's important to me to raise the level for all of the arts organizations, that we're a team.
It's funny you mentioned this, because I remember my experience was just the opposite as a kid. That I remember I took a course, had an art teacher or something, And remember, they laughed at my art the first time I ever did art, and that was it. I never.
Yeah, exactly. So you take our class. I'm going to let you know, Blaine, when the next one's happening.
But that's really
Clara
cool.
said
You can be at any age,
Clara's after people like you and me, because I had the same experience.
and you can draw and paint at any age. So did you actually take the course?
I did not. I was still too scared. But I have friends who did, and I'll have to. I make up excuses like, oh, I can't possibly. I don't have time.
But isn't that the same thing too, though, with theater and performing arts as well? That people are told they can't speak or get up or perform, and that's probably very exciting for you to bring in people for the first time, and they actually do get up on stage or do something as well.
I love doing it with adults. I've taught a few adult classes, but especially I think it does it for adults too, but for children, it gives them a confidence that they aren't going to get anywhere else. They may not grow up and be, world famous actors. I have a few students I worked with who are actors now and lighting designers, but, most of them just had a sense of a team. It's a lot like a team sport. They also, they have confidence in getting in front of people and speaking, which they wouldn't have had otherwise. And it's just a good experience for building self-esteem in kids. And so whether it's playing the guitar and the ukulele, our junior Appalachian musician program is just blowing itself out of the water. The program's been going on since about 2013, and it's grown a little bit slowly, but in the last few years, it's just exploded. And it was the one program we were able to keep going through COVID, where the kids would meet outside and play, socially distanced and masked and all that stuff, but they kept it up because the live music was just so important to them. So
do you have a senior Appalachian program?
We do.
Junior.
We absolutely do. We love to have our adults playing, and that one continued through the pandemic as well.
I'm thinking it's I'm not closer, but
especially
if I could play the kazoo, that'd be about my speed. I could do that as well. But you were talking, and I saw it when I was there. I couldn't believe the impressive array of artists you get. I don't know, we're into end of April. Do we still have stuff for the May and June and for the summer?
Well, we just closed our signature series with Loudon Wainwright. We had a full house for that.
Wow.
He was a lot of fun. Very, very popular. This summer, we have a real special event happening. I'm so glad you asked. It's a program called Annika's Elephants, and it's coming to us from New York. The artists who are involved with it are all involved also with Sesame Street. The writer is Annie Evans, who has won like 7 daytime Emmys for writing for Sesame Street. And her husband, Marty Robinson, is a puppet designer and builder, and he's building the puppets for this show. And there's also a director who is, the director is Pam Arciera. She is also from Sesame Street. And they have written this new show called Annika's Elephants, and its first tryout before it goes to Broadway in March will be here in Tryon. So they're going to bring the whole troupe of puppeteers and puppets. They're bringing in a lighting designer. We're starting them here. They're going to rehearse in our space for a couple of days, and then we'll have a dress rehearsal for a small audience. They will do 2 shows on Fridays and Saturdays. And this is going to be July 15th and 16th. We're going to have more up on the website in the next 2 weeks. And so we're very excited for that opportunity. They'll be leading workshops for our local folks, and also just meeting and mixing and learning. So it'll give adults and kids a great opportunity to learn about the world of creating puppets on the level of this Jim Henson group. It is very exciting.
Keep me in mind, if not for that show or other stuff like that in the future, because I'd love to do a show on that, kind of thing.
Great, yeah.
Because again, the beauty of now doing this via Zoom as opposed to on the radio, I can, interview anybody anywhere. So if they'd be willing to, I'd love to speak to them and just talk about what an exciting program to have. Is that already getting promoted, or are you getting interest in that?
Oh, I'm getting some interest in it. Right now I'm looking for sponsors. So to get it launched, and we're hoping to be able to sell the tickets for very, very inexpensive price, so that students and kids and families will be able to come to all the shows. We would really love to fill up the house all
Well,
for
I mean,
shows.
it sounds it, just before it hits big time. Talk a
Yeah.
little bit about too, the people you get to come to the shows. So, I've been to Tryon a couple of times, and we should talk a little bit about what happens when people see Tryon even for the first time. It's a cool place to come visit, just to see not only a performance, but to have a meal there. Talk a little bit about what happens when people come to Tryon.
Okay. Well, we have some lovely bed and breakfast, a lot of VRBO kinds of places to stay. We do have some small hotels, but when they come to town, it's a really beautiful small town. We have some great restaurants. We have a lot of art galleries right on the main street. We have a movie theater that was built in 1939. It's been showing movies all the way through. The owners of that theater completely rebuilt it from the ground up several years ago. And so it is state-of-the-art, incredible movie theater that we were able to have in downtown. We have our Nina Simone Plaza because, of course, a very, very famous person who was born in Tryon was Nina Simone. So we celebrate that. We're fortunate for that. She was an incredible artist, and we're so, pleased to have her statue in downtown across from the movie theater. We also have like I said, the upstairs art space, which is another arts organization that has contemporary art hanging on the main street. We have our Tryon Little Theater, which does, 4 different productions through the year. And so you can walk up and down the town and see the photo galleries, see the privately owned art galleries, and have a nice meal at one of the many restaurants.
I should get smarter about that. You mentioned the Tryon. What group was that? The little
Tryon Little Theater.
So that's different than the other theater?
Yeah, there's the movie theater.
No. And then where I see shows, that's at where?
That's at the Tryon Fine Arts Center. That's where I met you.
Right. And they have their other rehearsal space.
Tryon Little Theater. We're 2 separate 501c3s. Yeah.
So a
lot of people don't realize that.
No, so I have to get smarter about that. So that
that's okay. I don't mind you confusing us with them. It's very normal.
No, but what's really cool is that Tryon, as I'm seeing through your eyes, it's kind of a really cool little secret that a lot of people don't know about, that, and I guess that ties into also your work with Kiwanis, or you've been very active in Kiwanis, and now you're still on the board. What does Kiwanis do in terms of helping promote Tryon?
Well, Tryon helps. Kiwanis helps kids. That's
right.
What Kiwanis is about. They are just all about whatever they can do to help the kids. So we give scholarships to high school students. We do Terrific Kids. We give out dictionaries. We build playgrounds. Whatever we can do, we'll feed teachers. We really do try to support teachers and schools and kids and families. It's a wonderful organization. I'm very proud to be a Kiwanian. I've been on the board for a long time and enjoyed my years as president.
When people want to get involved with, say, your center, how do they do you take volunteers? Do you work with people in the community?
We do. We have a lot of volunteers. We can't run without the volunteers. Our volunteers usher for us. They sit at the front desk. They sell tickets. They check people in. We have people who, if you want to learn technical theater, that is something that we would love to have more volunteers on that front. We have of course, our board is all volunteers, and we have a fantastic board of directors that I'm really enjoy working with. Very, very wise group of people and a wide variety of interests, and also very Tryon oriented. They're very much about the community.
And so people want to get involved. What do they do?
So if you want to get involved, you can sign up on our website, or you can give a call to Cheryl Ard, who is our patron services manager. And part of that job is to organize the volunteers. And she'll kind of keep you informed as to what volunteer opportunities are coming up.
And the website, if you would, is what?
Is www.tryonarts.org. That's TRYONARTS.org.
And as you were talking, you just gave some very good advice that if anybody's listening, especially a student, I hope they heard what you said, having to do with getting involved, even if you're not an actor. In other words, behind the scenes, it's just incredible to me how many people are needed to put on a show,
Right.
in addition to the actors. And come to a little bit about that as a way to get experience. If somebody's even an aspiring actor and they don't get a play or they don't get the part they want, why is it important to volunteer in these other positions?
Well, it's important to know, like I said before, it's a team sport. There's a time when the tickets are what's most important, and and they have a role to play. Without a good ticketing situation, then the show won't do well. It's important to have the lighting just right, or else things don't go well. It's important to know how to do what cables you need for sound, how to set up the microphones, because it's all needed to make a good show. You got to make sure that the people are sitting in the right seats so that you don't have somebody come in and go, oh no, someone's in my seats, and you got to straighten out a mess. So you've got to make sure that you've got people seated correctly. You make sure that they are well served at the concession stand, that they have what they want as quickly as they can, that they're greeted at the door. I mean, it's really all part of a great experience, which is what we're about here, for all of our patrons and our volunteers to have a great experience.
And I guess what I've heard is that, especially for aspiring actors, it's good to have a wide background, not just being an actor.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen this, but somebody once told me, you really want to get experience, become a stage manager.
Yes.
If you see a stage manager, you'll see everything.
Yes, absolutely.
And that ties into something you and I were talking off the air, that you mentioned as a kid or younger. When you were younger, you were an actor, and now you also, quote, in your spare time, you also do acting.
I do, and some little directing when I can.
Well, talk a little bit about some of the shows you've been in.
Well, let's see. Since I was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Tryon Little Theater, and I played Nurse Ratched. She was not a lot of fun, but yeah, she was a lot of fun.
By the way, I digress. Did you see they did a follow-up series on TV about Nurse Ratched? Did you see it?
I didn't see it, but I did see what they did.
It's a lot of fun. That was you when you were a kid. So, wow, that was some part to play.
Nurse Ratched, yeah.
You like those comedies?
Yeah, comedies like that. Yeah, seems I get roles like that. I don't know why. I'm really a nice person, but I get like Nurse Ratched.
Question:
Anyway.
Do you prefer acting or directing?
Ooh, that's a good. I love acting. Acting is candy to me, but directing is a bigger challenge, and and you learn more about it. It's the same thing you were talking about before, where if you do more parts of it, you get better at other parts of it too. Like as a director, I became a better actor. As a teacher, I became a better actor because I watched it and I kept seeing the same things. It kept shaping things and helping people find their way through things. So I think, acting is just really a joy for me. That's my favorite.
Which was interesting. You're kind of the exception, because I'll oftentimes ask a bunch of actors who also direct, and they'll oftentimes say they prefer directing. But the truth is, they're not being honest with me, because the truth is they don't have to memorize the lines that way. So
yeah, that's hard. I just did The Crucible with Shakespeare and Friends, and that was I played Judge. Oh golly, the mean evil judge, sort of like the Nurse Ratched of of The Crucible. And I had a lot to learn in that one. That one was a real struggle, but it was a very powerful show. That's another community theater group here in Tryon.
I was going to ask you, because I've interviewed one of the actors from there, but I haven't done a show on them. And they perform. They perform out at Tryon also.
Yes, they use the park, Rogers Park Amphitheater. So that's where we do shows. We've got one coming up in June called Scenery, which is lots of comic scenes from Shakespeare. So I'll be directing a scene from As You Like It, and I'll be in a scene or two. And these will be staged readings, so it's a real easy way in to into that group and to see if you like working in the park. And it's a great group. They just did let's see, they did a Doll's House up in Asheville, and they also did it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I missed that, but that was like,
great. It was excellent. So we have a lot of good theater here between Tryon Little Theater and Shakespeare and Friends. There's lots of good places to play.
Talk about moving forward in terms of your facility. What, aside from the one public thing, sounds very exciting. Are there some other things you look forward to even next year that's coming up?
Sure. Yes. So next year, our opening season, I haven't even announced it yet, but anyway, we have a wonderful signature series coming in that I probably shouldn't announce it since I haven't sent it out to my season subscribers yet.
They just
And I
look
don't have
forward
the
to it.
force.
Check the
just
website.
waiting. Check the website. Starting September, I will say September 16th is our opening show date, and it will be an excellent show. So I'm looking forward to getting the signature series running. I also always look forward to what happened to the arts education programming, our showcase of excellence. We also give out grants to teachers. So we'll be doing that in the fall. That I look forward to doing, to seeing what the schools are up to.
And what kind of grants are they?
Those are grants for up to $500, and the teachers apply for them to do projects that are art related to the arts in their, like, integrate. The idea is to integrate arts into the curriculum. So a science teacher can come up with a project that has, uses art to teach about the solar system or something like that. And they need to buy supplies, or they need to bring in some sort of artist to work with the kids. We take grants like that. We take applications like that, and then our group decides who gets the money. And so we give out about $5,000 a year to the schools. So that's one way we try to support the teachers in the classrooms. So, and then we have our Showcase of Excellence, which has been going on for about 10 years now. It's a juried art exhibit for high school artists. We have submissions from Hendersonville, from Rutherford, from Spartanburg County, from Greenville County, from lots of schools in Spartanburg County, many schools, and of course Polk County, our home county. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And last year we did something new called our Community Outreach Project, Jazz 22, in which we did a deep dive into jazz, trying to approach it from lots of different directions. So people, if you're not a musician, you could find some access to jazz. And so we did education programs. We did a concert out at a church. We did with jazz musicians from Charleston. We worked real closely with a professional musician, Quentin Baxter from Ranky Tanky. He was on our committee. He's a good friend of TFAC, and he helped with his group, helped us work with students. He did a masterclass with students to make. I won't go into all of that, but it was a lot. But what it did was it took all of our programming and wrapped it around one particular art. And in this point, it was jazz. So we want to do that again. We want to bring in exhibits. We want to bring education. We want to get all of our wheels rolling on the same thing. So we're working on this year. The discussion is dance. We haven't made that decision for sure, but that's what's being looked at, looking at a way to make dance accessible to the public, and to do it, a deep dive, not just into dance, but into the community, to expose more people to different kinds of dance, to maybe they can find something in it that they didn't realize they loved. So that's.
You also mentioned something else that I'll have to check out next time I'm in the area, but you mentioned in that facility where you are now, there's a gallery, or there's a place where art's displayed. Where is that located? So
that's our Jeannie Parker Gallery. It is down in the new section in the pavilion. The access to that is through the back door, it's above the post office, right. Lack of a better word. It is a very small gallery, but it's beautiful. Right now we have a show in there called Weaving. It's artistic weaving, and it's don't have it in front of me. Don't remember the exact name. Anyway, it is art acrylic paint that looks like three-dimensional weaving. And so we've taken this artist's work, and we have also blended in some real weaving from rug makers and tapestry makers from Black Mountain and from Bryson City in Atlanta. So the show has just it's Artistic Weavings is the name of it. So it's art and textiles. And so that's in our Jeannie Parker Gallery, which we change the shows out in there about every 2 months or so. We're just learning the ropes of that particular program. It's a new one for us because we just built the gallery. So I look for great things to come there.
And just so I know, so if somebody comes to a production or a show, is the art gallery also open at the same time?
It is. The access is a little tricky sometimes, but yes, I do try to have it opens before the show so that they can go in and see what we've got down in the gallery and then come upstairs to the main show upstairs.
And Marianne, if I can again ask you to give the contact information, if people want to
Sure.
find out more about the Tryon Fine Arts Center, best thing to do one of two things, I guess. One, to go to the website is what again, please?
It's www.tryonarts.org.
Okay. And also, can they go up there? Do you have a mailing list or an email list that they can get on?
Yes, you can sign up for the mailing list. You can also, give us a call and get on the mailing list or shoot me an email. I'm at Marianne, that's MARIANNE @tryonarts.org. And if you have any questions, just, I'm happy to answer questions and get you on the mailing list and get you a ticket or, whatever. Help you find your glasses.
Watching or listening to the show to check out the Tryon Fine Arts Center, because as I was, you're going to kind of be blown away by it. Who would have thought in Tryon they'd see this facility, and it's so unique because again, you don't see too many of the facilities like this.
Yeah, I got a lot going on. It really is. We're very grateful for it. It's amazing. It's like, I'm not sure, it's like a bumblebee. I'm not sure how it flies in this small town, but it does. It does. And we work well with our neighbors. We work well with the other arts organizations. I'm very grateful to be here in a real arts oriented town. It's a pretty interesting place, Tryon.
As we said in the beginning of the show, if ever there was a perfect job for you, this seems to be it.
You got it. Yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to thank you, Marianne Carruth, Executive Director of the Tryon Fine Arts Center, for being my guest on this BLAINESWORLD podcast. Also to my producer, Cappy Tassetti, and look forward to having you join me when we post another BLAINESWORLD podcast. So thanks again, Marianne. It's great speaking to you.
Thank you very much.